my actual eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center. Go, go, go. We're out of here. We're out of here. Say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
Cougars and the Gloucester Lions here facing off on Friday Night Lights here on DWB. The season is starting to change. The leaves are starting to change. But football never changes here on DWB, and it's going to be a fun night. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Schalick is a team that we've been wanting to see for a while. They've got an excellent crew, and not to mention an excellent quarterback in Kenai Simmons. But Schalick and Gloucester are somewhat at a crossroads. Schalick has won their last 3 in a row, and Gloucester has lost their last 3 in a row. We were here for their second game of the year versus Lower Cape May, a game that they won 21-7 after blanking Pennsville, but then 38-0 versus PVI, 21-10 to Willingboro, and 21-13 to Seneca. One of those games was at home, 2 were on the road, and now they're back home for the second game in a row of this short homestand before they visit Haddonfield and Pleasantville to close out the regular season. So this is what I like about this matchup, is that both of these teams want to win for different reasons. Schalick to extend their winning streak, and Gloucester to break their losing streak. You know, Gloucester's got some great weapons with Mason Widman. And Ashton Wall has been a great rising prospect in this Gloucester system. And Schalick, they run around Kenai Simmons and a couple of other folks on their program. But, we weren't sure how Schalick was going to be this year after their loss to Cedar Grove at Battle of the Beach. They sat Simmons for that game, and what eventually became a 41-3 loss. But then they came back. They shut out Cumberland. They took care of Hillsgrove, Salem, Coltsboro. And keep in mind, Schalick is coming off a short rest. They played on Monday because of that postponed game between Schalick and Coltsboro. They are coming off of 3-4 days rest. They're playing twice in a week. And I'm frankly very impressed with how Schalick has adjusted to this. And they will also be able, I think, to show that on the field as well, so that they are not taking the pressure of, we hear about it all the time in NFL discourse, where teams are playing a Thursday night football game and then they have to go around and play on a Sunday night. I should say they're playing on Sunday one day, then play on Thursday, and they are moving around. This is the same thing here. Of course, circumstances outside of their control force them to be in that situation, but
At the same time, either way, it just ended up being a situation where, things happened security-wise out of their control, and now Schalick, for the second time this week, is going to take the football field again. Your thoughts on tonight?
Well, right now, like we just said, we have 2 teams looking to get a win, but for different reasons. One, to keep their winning streak going, to make it to 4. One, just to get back in the column. We look at Schalick. They started off the year with a big-time bad loss, right? 41, 41-3. So they were able to get 3 points on the board to avoid getting shut out. But, main thing right here, past 3 games, 21-2 against Pennsgrove, 37-14 against Salem, and 17-0 against Paulsboro. So they've really turned things around. And obviously right here, looking to continue it. They had a game, like you said, on Monday, looking to carry this momentum. I understand it's hard in football. You really get beat up. And that's something where, you've got to get your mind reset. You just play on Monday. You're now here again. It's something you just got. It's all about mental adjustment, and it's something where here for Gloucester, they really need to get back on the same track. These past losses haven't exactly been close, so this is something where your season obviously is not going in the right direction. You need to, big time here, change the momentum, get out. You need a quick score, something just to get things on your side immediately. Don't even let them have a chance, because like we said, they're not too rusty. They just came off of a game. So this is going to be a big one for Gloucester, hopefully.
And you know what? This is back-to-back road games for Schalick as well. They're about 25 minutes away from Hallsboro. They're about 45 minutes away from Gloucester. So it'll be fun to see what they have. Color guard is out there on the field right now. So we are going to switch this camera around, and we'll be right back with our national anthem and more here from J.A. Lynch Field.
Please stand and recognize the flag of midfield as the Lions marching band plays the national anthem. There.
All right, there's your Gloucester High Marching Band. Should be a fun one tonight here from Gloucester. Like we said, the last time that these two teams played, it was a thriller. It ended in regulation, but only because it was a late fourth quarter touchdown by Kenai Simmons. You know, he's an underclassman who can certainly make a lot of noise, and it'll be fun to see what they have in store tonight. Let's take a look at some fast facts presented by Harper Driving School. Schalick has won the last 3 of their 5 matchups between these two teams. And like we said last year, this was the season opener for Gloucester, a game that Schalick won 17-14, a back-and-forth affair that Schalick won in the late of the fourth quarter with a Kenai Simmons rushing touchdown. And for these guys, like we said, Gloucester coming off of 3 straight losses, 2 of them on the road as they start a 3-game homestand, and then Schalick coming off of 3 straight wins. But this is what I love about crossover week. Things can be unpredictable, even if this isn't, you know, a year-in, year-out rivalry. Remember, before 2022, the last time these two had played each other was 2017. So, a lot of history between these two teams, but it's been relatively spacious. As Ashton Wall, kind of the utility man for the Lions, he's going to kick this one off. And you heard that right from the public address announcer, Sean Gorman. Kenai Simmons, the quarterback, is also back to return for the Cougars as we are underway here from J.A. Lynch Field in the Holy City. Returned up to the 35, and that's where we get started here this afternoon and evening, we could say. So Schalick gets the drive started at their own 35. Kenai Simmons recently surpassed 1,000 career passing yards as a senior now. He's 21 for 33 passing this year, giving him a passing percentage of 64%, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And that's also piggybacking off of 8 passing touchdowns the prior season as a junior in 2023, a season where Schalick went 10-2. Rushed over the middle. That'll be a gain of about 9. I believe it's short of the first, and it will be. It'll be 2nd and short for the Cougars. Cougars under Mike Wilson this year, like we said, had a very humbling 41-3 loss to Cedar Grove, which right now, I don't know if it will be that humbling because they're 7-0 in the Super Football Conference. They just came off of a win 49-28 last night versus Glen Ridge. So if you're going to lose to anybody, you might as well lose to a team that's 7-0. Up the middle. Oh no, this is going to go out to the left for Simmons. He's got some room. It's a first down and then some. And it will go to the opposing 45. And just 2 plays from scrimmage, Schalick has already turned the table and has invaded enemy territory. First down, Cougars. I was going to say, it looked like at first, it looked like he ran out of the Wildcat, but I was wrong there. But Schalick, their only 2 losses of the season came to Cedar Grove and perennial powerhouse Woodstown, which under Jim Trouts this year, after John Adams ended up resigning from the program at the end of last season, they beat Cumberland 23-0 at home in their home opener. The opening week of the season was played at Egg Harbor Township, as here's a rush up the middle, finding some space and getting taken down. Number 4, Reggie Allen Jr. gets it up to the 36.
Ball carried by Allen Jr.
And just a hair, maybe about 2 minutes into this one, and Schalick already driving hard. They started this drive at their own 35, and just a handful of plays from scrimmage, they have already carried themselves deep into enemy territory and starting to chisel into that iceberg a little more from the opposing 36, sending a couple of men in motion, Jones and Winder. Simmons takes the snap. He'll take it himself. Again, fighting through that Gloucester defense, he gets to the 30, and that'll be another Cougars first down. I mean, look, Simmons is already showing his prowess on the QB rush so far tonight, and those stats throughout the first 6 games of the season, they back it up. And Simmons has been able to, kind of fortify himself as a stable rushing quarterback. Rushed for 1,225 yards in his sophomore year. In his career coming into tonight, 2,223 with 35 rushing touchdowns, which is much more than his 11 passing. That one's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage, and finally Gloucester shows some resistance, if you will, on the defensive line, and that'll be second down. I mean, this is one of the only people that I have ever seen to have multiple passing, rushing, and receiving touchdowns. He has 5 in his career, 2 as a freshman, 3 as a sophomore. But he didn't in his first 2 seasons, he was only a rusher and a receiver. He only had 2 career passes in his 2021 and 2022 campaigns, and then that junior year, 51 for 88 from the pass. Another rush gets stopped by Gloucester. That'll be third down. But this Schalick team often gets underrepresented just because of where they are. They're in Pittsgrove, New Jersey, kind of in this funky corner of the state, where when we cover Schalick, we've got to cover them on the road because of how rural the area is. It feels like when we go down there, we're going to the cornfields of Iowa or something like that. But these guys are a resilient program just tucked into a little neat corner of South Jersey in Salem County. Simmons drops back to pass. He's rolling out to the right. He lets it fly. It's caught. And that is a touchdown, Schalick. They get on the board in just the first 5 minutes of the night, as from 30 yards out, number 14 brings it in as number 14, Jayshon Mills on the touchdown there for the Cougars. And they hit the board first from 30 yards out. And they're going to go with the old classic muddle huddle here. Haddonfield did it a whole bunch in our game that we saw with them a couple of weeks ago. This PAT is going to be attempted by number 17, Robert Daly. From the left foot, nope, they're going to fake it and fail it. So PAT attempt and the 2-point fake is unsuccessful. And the Cougars have jumped out to a 6-0 lead here with 7:27 left in the first quarter. We will be right back right after this. Schalick drives in for a touchdown, and it should be noted this broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Just like Schalick drove into the end zone, you can drive into your New Jersey State license. As 95% or more of students pass their New Jersey State driving test on the first try, this one's taken in at the 5. He finds some room. He finds a wall of green and white at the 30. And that's where Gloucester will take over for their first drive on the return by Jaden Tillman, the junior.
Lions will take over first and the quarterback line to start.
But to book your appointment for Harper Driving School today, go to Suite E of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. Here is Mason, I keep mentioning Mason Widman, although he was very close at winning Player of the Month on DWB this past month. Kevin Bolden, the freshman QB, who has definitely bulked up the stat line since we saw him last on September the 5th. 28 for 65 for a pass completion total of 43%, 324 passing yards, 2 TDs, 6 interceptions, and 22 rushing yards for the very young QB this year. I don't know many schools that have a freshman starting quarterback, but if he's worthy, he's worthy. Rolling out to the left side, he finds some room and scampers out of bounds at the 50. That's number 6, Trevin Burkhart, the younger brother of Stephen Burkhart, who is right now having himself a time at Kutztown University, the Division II program in Pennsylvania. I mean, I remember the first time that we covered Gloucester football, you know, the Burkhart name was something that you did not want to ignore. Just like the Zierfosses and, you know, who else that you might know. Gloucester is a family city. And, you know, these long generations of families that have long defined Gloucester athletics, you know, that's what makes this this community so tight-knit and so close. Handoff again to Burkhart. He finds some space. Not going to be back-to-back first downs, but they'll spot it around the 46. Burkhart, the 6'1 senior in this 2024 campaign. He's giving himself a good campaign, at least, to say the least. 309 rushing yards. That rush for a first down was his 50th rush of the season. He's got 3 TDs. And so far this year, he's had 2 games of over 100 rushing yards. 109 versus Pennsville to open up the campaign, and 113 versus Seneca. And also had a rushing touchdown in that game in a 21-13 loss for Gloucester. It's second and short. This game could very well be an offensive slugfest if these guys continue this pace on offense. And I like a good slugfest. We've seen, I mean, we haven't really seen a whole bunch this year. I mean, 21-20 was not a slugfest. And sometimes when we see something like that, a high-scoring game, all that means is that it was high-scoring for one team. You know, Pennsville beat Audubon 46-0 earlier this year. I think that was the biggest blowout in a long time for DWB. The biggest blowout in DWB football history was 58-0. Woodbury beat Burlington City on my 18th birthday to advance to the South Jersey Group 1 sectional final. Here comes a handoff again on 3rd and short. That, on forward progress alone, that might be it. Has some scrambles at the line, and Wall does barrel through for a Lions first down. And that's what you wanted right there. You did not want that drive to stall out after such a good start. And, you know, you have your weapons like Wall and Burkhart, you know, maybe you run, and we haven't even seen Widman yet. And Widman himself, he's had 387 rushing yards this year. Picked up 155 in their 21-7 win over Lower Cape May. Low snap. It goes to Widman. You say his name 3 times and he appears, but unfortunately that's a loss of about 2 yards. A lightning fast first quarter so far, I should say. This field has given us what lightning quick games, and yeah, I'm not going to jinx it, but the longest football game in DWB history, just in terms of the time from the ball was first kicked to the final snap, was right here. It was Palmyra Gloucester Catholic on September 2nd, 2023, 3 hours and 19 minutes from the time opening kickoff happened until the final snap. Widman takes it again on 2nd and long. He breaks through just a little bit for about 5 yards, and it'll be 3rd down at mid-range.
Number 3, Mason.
What was that?
Said third and 8.
Yeah, not as favorable as I would have thought, but I mean, with Bolden having nearly 60 passing attempts this year, I wouldn't be surprised if he dumps off a pass to one of his receivers. You know, I remember last year, Gloucester was not a passing team at all. And it's nice if you're Rob Bryan or any of the assistants that you can have somebody, even a youngster under center that you can develop as a starter for 4 years. I mean, that is such a nice gift for Gloucester and Kevin Bolden. Dumps a pass off to the right side. It's caught. That's going to be a 1st down. And then some. He's inside the red zone. Widman with the reception. And Gloucester breaks through. And they are in the red zone for the first time tonight in their first offensive drive. You know, we haven't seen a lot. I told somebody we were walking to get our equipment up into the booth, and I said, you know, I don't know who might have this game tonight, but I know it might be a 1-score game. And knock on wood, looks like it's holding true. Gloucester lining up with only 2 receivers. Widman powers through again, and he got, again, further than I thought. He's inside the 5.
Gloucester fakes a Widman. Number 8, Dick Lafatello.
Some of you might remember in our DWB original football schedule we announced in June. Actually, we'll hold off on that for just a second. Here's a handoff to Wall. Where does he go from here? Gets swallowed up by the Cougars defense. So we were going to say, we were just going to go into added town scores. Kingsway leads Clearview 48-0 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Oof. I'm kind of glad I didn't go to Kingsway Clearview then, if it's 48-0 with 6:17 in the second quarter. Apparently Kingsway has already taken their starters out of the game, and it's the second quarter. I don't know if I've seen that in a long time, although last night Somerville put up 50 points in the first half versus North Hunterdon. 152 and counting in the first quarter. Wall shuffles through to find some space. It was on 3rd and short, so Gloucester thinks they have a first. They're going to ask to stop the clock. Obviously, Gloucester wants the 1st down, and it will be granted. 1st down, Gloucester. That's exactly what they needed there. You know, you don't want, again, this drive has been very proactive for Gloucester, and it's chewed a lot of time off the clock. So it allows them to, you know, make up some ground on this drive, and especially since Schalick attempted a 2-point conversion and it was muffed, or I should say it was thwarted, if you will. And Vince, don't let me get scared by the cannon this time. Here comes a handoff to the right side. Widman finds some room and he finds the end zone. Touchdown, Lions. The cannon fires, and so does the running back. And we are tied up 6-6. That's what I love about Gloucester's offense, is that they have so many weapons that they can utilize, whether it's Wall, Burkhart, Bolden, Harris. They have so many different options that are in different, you know, I mean, look, Wall is a sophomore, Bolden's a freshman. We're going to see these two working together for a long time. And whistles are blowing here. We got a timeout? Or do we have... What kind of issue do we have here? Whatever it is, it seems to be okay. Wall to kick, Bolden to hold. PAT would give them a 7-6 lead. It's up, it's away, and it is good. Cannon fires, and it is a Gloucester lead here midway through the first half, and by that we mean it's 1 minute left in the first quarter. Cougars trail the Lions 7-6 here on DWB. We're back here from J.A. Lynch Field. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey. Visit 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike. That kick drops at the 20. Still on his feet, and finally the whistles blow at the 36. And that's where Schalick will take over for their second drive. Now that the tides are turning a little bit, let's get this party started. Let's get this party started with some out-of-town scoreboards. Holy Cross in the Lancers leads Bishop Eustace 7-0 late in the first quarter. And over at Highland Triton for that rivalry game, it is 12-0 in favor of the Tartans at the end of the first half. The Colts of Cumberland, a team that Schalick has experience with before, they trail 8-7 versus Deptford at the end of the first half. And midway through the first quarter, Holy Spirit leads Delsey 7-0. Simmons from the shotgun. He's got two receivers to his left and a man in motion. Here comes a handoff that will just immediately get snuffed out. West Deptford leads Salem 7-0 very early in the first quarter. And PVI leads Notre Dame 6-0 with about 3 minutes elapsed in the first quarter. A lot of the 7 o'clock games just getting started. Ocean City leads Middle Township in a squeaker 17-13 midway through the third quarter. And here we go. Again, Simmons rolling out to the right side. Wow, a cross-body pass to the left. Goes to the 45. And how about that? Kind of an unusual run-up, but at the end of the first quarter, Schalick will put themselves in a good position on that pass completed to number 25, Ronin Thomas. And that will bring us to the end of the first quarter as Schalick, with their blocked PAT, is the difference maker so far. 7-6 as both teams trade a first quarter touchdown. We'll be right back here on DWB.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Second quarter here from J.A. Lynch Field as we are right on midfield. So we just changed directions directly from the shotgun. It is caught out of the pocket by number 15, diving over the middle. Taken in by Schalick's number 15, Dylan Sheehan. and immediately Schalick picks up a first down. So Pfeffer on the tackle for Gloucester. Don't forget, tomorrow we have a DWB doubleheader at 11 a.m. It is the Willingboro Chimeras and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. And then at 3 o'clock, we travel down to Sewell for women's soccer between the RCSJ Roadrunners and the Brookdale Jersey Blues in JUCO soccer. By the way, Gloucester alum Kevin Wall doing a great job over there in the men's soccer program for RCSJ. He started a couple of games in goal, actually, for them. I never thought that Kevin Wall and goalie would be in the same sentence, but he might be in attendance tonight. I'm not sure. He was here for the Lower Cape May game back in September. Had a good chat with him. As Schalick, 2nd and 10 now from the 30. For Schalick's remaining schedule this season, like we said, they're on the road to Gloucester tonight, and then they are at home for their final 2 games of the regular season, but they are gauntlet games between Glassboro and Woodbury. Although Woodbury's been hanging around 500 this year, as this one is rolling out to the right. He's got room. One more tackle and he's gone. He's at the 10, rolling over, and that one is going to remain in play, although the clock does stop at 10:23. And they'll roll it again as Thomas gets all the way into the red zone and then some. That might be inside the 10. I'm not sure. That looked like that was somewhere inside the 10. Yeah, they're going to spot this at the 9. So Schalick is having themselves a day on being proactive on offense. They've got a chance to strike again. Simmons hands off to the left side. And the carry by Thomas does not get too far. It'll be 2nd and goal. Think from the 8 or the 7. Second and goal for the Cougars. If you're just tuning in, both teams traded a touchdown in the first quarter. Mason Widman for Gloucester. That was the last score before the end of the quarter. Schalick had their PAT attempt, or their 2-point attempt, blocked. Simmons taking this himself to the left, rushing towards the pylon. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Schalick. And they are back on the board here early in the second quarter, as the Cougars find the end zone again. This time, Simmons with a keeper, and it's 12-7. And again, that muddle huddle formation, we'll see if they go for the kick or for 2. And they will go for the kick, at least in this instance, with Hunter Dragata from the left foot. It is up, away, and it is good. 13-7 as Schalick retakes the lead, as the 70th career PAT attempt for Hunter Dragata, the junior. And he delivers, as we'll be right back. 8:46 left in quarter number 2. 13-7. Welcome back to J.A. Lynch Field. It's 13-7 as Schalick has taken a second quarter lead here over the Lions. This is our 25th appearance of Gloucester Athletics on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. They are just the second team besides Audubon, which is just a little bit ahead with 139 compared to Gloucester's 25. But they are just the second team to reach 25 DWB appearances. So, and they were a part of our first, as this one returned and Harris gets dropped. The ball came out. Schalick wants it. Hold on here. Harris got dropped to his behind, and here comes Schalick. They just took it over. They got the ball back as they forced Harris into a precarious situation. And they took care of business. How about it?
This game's turned a little bit.
This game, yeah, it turned on its head a little bit. You know, the momentum wasn't really on either side. As soon as Schalick scored, Gloucester was all right. Was like, all right, we'll do that too. And now Schalick's going to have back-to-back offensive possessions. That's going to be fun. Let's see what they've got in the tank as they start the drive almost by default in the red zone at the 17. Timber Creek leads Camden. Camden leads Timber Creek 6-0 late in the third quarter. Cougars call a timeout. We will stay on the air to bring you some more out-of-town scoreboard updates. Holy Spirit leads Delsey 14-0 early in the second quarter. And along with that, let's see here, some see, what do we even have here? I mean, most of them we've already mentioned, besides the one that we're already covering here. Let's see here. Most of it's just Shore Conference and North Jersey stuff that doesn't pertain to here. Should note next week, Friday is going to be a huge Friday Night Lights game for DWB. Washington Township and Kingsway. 6 o'clock kickoff for the Dragons. That'll be real fun from Kingsway Regional. 8:36 left in the first half. Simmons in the shotgun. Again, another keeper as the rushing quarterback dives forward inside the 15. And that will get about 5 yards. It is second and mid-range. One more first down and Schalick will once again be at first and goal territory. There were a handful of football games like Mendham and Chatham that kicked off at 3 o'clock today. I know Jackson Memorial and another school also kicked off at 3. I'm honestly not sure as to why, but seems like there's been games at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 so far tonight. So, I don't know. Simmons over the middle. Pass is tipped. Who's got it though? Did the ball get picked up by anybody? I'm not sure what happened there. I know the pass was tipped at the line as a low flyer ends up getting clipped. They're going to say that was tipped. Well, I mean, obviously it was tipped. It'll be incomplete. I just wasn't sure if anybody picked it up, that's all. West Effort leads Salem 15-0 at the end of the first. And Middle Township, with 42 seconds left in the third quarter, has taken a 20-17 lead over Ocean City. Sending a man in motion, Simmons falls down. And he will get back up under his own power. But somebody got tripped. So that is not a big help there. Going to bring out the field goal unit? It appears so. Schalick will attempt a field goal. And that is blocked, or the snap was bad. Now, he's going to get sacked way in the backfield at the 30. And the field goal attempt turns into a bonanza as Dragata, man, that was... Wow, that was something. That was a 31-yard attempt that that was not successful. Dragata's high this year is 36 yards on a field goal attempt.
Yeah, well,
What's that?
still haven't seen field goals yet on the broadcast.
No, I know we have. I just can't remember when. I honestly can't remember when, to be honest with you. But it's not something that's prevalent in South Jersey high school football. You know, we saw Holy Cross and Riverside where both teams literally did not have a kicker on the roster. Like, it wasn't a matter of, oh, we prefer to go for two. Their hand was forced. They literally did not have a kicker and had to go for two every time. It's one thing if you choose to go for two. It's another thing if your roster limitations and the people that you have at training camp literally prevent you from being able to kick PATs. Second and 5 for Gloucester. Handoff to Widman. Find some space. That'll be a first down. Over towards the Schalick sideline. Whistles are flying here. And this is going to be an official timeout as we have somebody hurt. We have somebody hurt near the chains. It appears to be a Gloucester player. Yeah, Rob Ryan's going out there. Just checking on them. 13-7, Schalick leads. One of the things that I'll say about Schalick, their fans travel incredibly well. You know, when we saw Lower Cape May, by the way, that was Mason Whitman who got up on his own accord. You know, there's not a lot of gray seats in that Schalick visiting grandstand. And when we saw Lower Cape May and Gloucester, it wasn't the same. You know, there might have been a handful of fans there. There are full rows of those Schalick folks. And look, you know, any team that has a fan base that travels well. What's that?
People along the fence.
Oh, yeah, some folks along the fence, too. I mean, that also exists on the Gloucester side as well, you know, however you want to partake in the game and however you want to take it in. But I've seen some fan bases that travel incredibly well. I would say Kingsway is one of them. Another one, Haddon Heights, and Woodstown. Woodstown also travels incredibly well for their road games in the handful that we've seen. 1st and 10 as the new set of downs is a new lease on life for the Gloucester Lions as a handoff to Burkhart. Gets through a couple of guys, but not too much. And a late tackle there after the whistle. Made by number 57 for the Cougars. That is Jermaine Loney. If you missed last night's broadcast, Cherry Hill East beat Cherry Hill West 28-7 to reclaim the boot for the first time in 12 years. The last time Cherry Hill East had won that rivalry game was in Thanksgiving of 2012. In a year that Cherry Hill East went 6-4, there were a couple of years where they had winless campaigns and are now 6-0 for the first time since New Jersey Gridiron has statistics available dating back to 2004. Some late kind of circustry there. And that'll be 3rd down. You can hear some commotion as if the ball had come out or something, but it did not. And that will be spotted from the right hash of the 32. Don't forget to stay tuned for the DWE halftime show brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. And also, if you are a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, all commercials you see on DWB are filmed, edited, recorded, and produced by myself and my wonderful crew. Packages start for advertising for as low as $250 for 6 months. For more information, send us an email with an advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That email is also available in the description of the YouTube video, and we will send you a flyer with information. Widman does not escape the sack. That'll be 4th down. Usually when you're outmatched by 3 defensive linemen, that usually doesn't end well. And that's exactly what happened there, unfortunately, for Bolden. And it looks like they're going to bring the punt crew on. I guess Bolden is also going to punt. This is South Jersey football for you, folks. Punter, QB, all in one. Hey, we saw Kenai Simmons, QB and kick returner, all in one. But if you can have somebody be nimble and quick and also be good with the arm and the leg, nothing wrong with that. Beautiful snap. Punted away at the 15. This is going to be returned at the 40. He gets tripped up. It stays on his feet. He's past the 50 and eventually goes out to the Gloucester sideline at the opposing 47. And Schalick will have 2 minutes and a chunk of change to play in this first half and try to make this a 2-score game. You know, this is the thing that I like about this matchup is that it's close. At the moment, it's close. You know, we see the reporters that are at the top of the food chains. I don't think there's any other media here besides us. There's no reporters here, you know, for both teams that are both fighting for playoff spots and teams that are, you know, I mean, Gloucester's 2-3, but they could easily get to 500 with a win. There's reporters that go to the best of the best, and then what happens when you go to Winslow Camden? Oh, it was 40-6. Yeah. Oh, they went with looks like a triple option. Hold on there. As they break that up. 2nd down after a loss. What's that?
One of our own was at Camden, right?
Yeah, Chris Baker's doing a great job. He's calling play-by-play for D2 Sports Network. Back-to-back nights for him. Second and 13. This is lined up exactly at midfield at the 50. Second and 13 from the 50. Simmons hands it off. Finds some space again. Whoa, some late hits there. Schalick wanted a flag out of that, and they did not get it. You know what I've noticed?
Yeah.
There hasn't been a single penalty in the first half. I don't think I've ever seen the game go this far without a penalty.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking a flag's about to be thrown, a flag's about to be thrown.
Especially with stuff like that right there. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that was well after the whistles blew for number 4, Reggie Allen Jr. The senior back who has rushed for 457 yards going into tonight, 5 rushing TDs. A rushing touchdown tonight would give him 30 on his 4-year career as he came into tonight with 2,128 rushing yards. Simmons rolling out of pressure. Lets it fly. A little too long on that one. Broken up by number 11 for the Lions, John Pfeffer. It'll bring up 4th and long, and we'll see if they bring out the special teams crew. It looks like they will. Number 15, Dylan Sheehan, is there. Caden Harris will be back to return. Harris called me out a couple of weeks ago because I accidentally said Kadon Harris instead of Caden. I apologize, Mr. Harris, but hey, he's the guy that gave me my Gloucester City, what's that, the booster card, where you tear off the tags and you give it to the restaurants. I paid for mine through him. They faked the punt. That's, he's going to try to rough his way through. He tried to scamper his way out to the Gloucester sideline, but it just doesn't work. So Sheehan went for the fake punt, and Schalick has been dipping in all kinds of trickery tonight. A fake PAT attempt, a fake punt. I think it was Holy Cross that did a fake punt as well earlier in the season, and they got it for 35 yards. But alas, here we are. Honestly, that's basically what you would have gotten out of a muffed punt. Think about it this way. Or just a regular punt. Harris is a quick returner. What if he returns it to the 40? We wouldn't be talking about it any differently, but he basically ran it out and gave them slightly worse field position than they would have gotten from a turnover on downs. Bolden from the shotgun. He backs up to his own 35. This pass is caught to the right side, hit hard by Reggie Allen Jr. We have under a minute left in the half. Schalick has all 3 timeouts. I'm sorry. Gloucester has 2. Schalick has 2. And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the home of the Lions. We have 46 seconds left in the first half. 2nd and 10 after an incompletion. Home run ball. Oh, didn't get it. Almost intercepted by number 0, David Stewart. I was going to say, that pass was not intended for the opposing team. However, it almost. Intended for Harris, broken up by Stewart. Man, that was close. And Gloucester cannot afford bad breaks like that before the half, although they will get the ball to start the second half. So you wonder how far they get with what they have. Honestly, 41 seconds, 2 timeouts, and 59 yards to go. I think that's doable, but let's see what he's got. Bolden low snap, handoff to Widman. I think he was just trying to cross over too much there. That's 4th down. He was just trying to cross over too much. It's almost like he had happy feet, you know? Timeout's going to be called by Schalick, and that we'll stay on the air. But no, I think that was the issue, was that he was, moving these feet rapidly, and he was trying to cut to the right and cut to the left. That works if you know you have a space, but sometimes it's just better to just barrel through, like a bull in a china shop. That's sometimes the best thing that you got. Don't forget, on Saturday, October 19th, next week, we close out our 4-game slate in a partnership with Woodbury High School, as it is the Penns Grove Red Devils and the Woodbury Thundering Herd in an 11 a.m. kickoff from Woodbury High. It'll be a fun one. And as we said, next Friday, Washington Township and Kingsway, 6 p.m. kickoff from Mullica Hill, or I should say from Swedesboro, but that will be quite a fun one. I'm excited to see Washington Township. We haven't seen them at all this year. They actually got upset last night by Rancocas Valley, final score 27-0. Bolden will be back to punt. We'll see if they pull off any trickery here with 28 seconds left. Just like Schalick has been pulling out the wild card all night. They do not. Traditional punt, deep back towards the 30. It will backspin. They'll back him up, and it is picked up at the 32. And Schalick will now have under 20 seconds to move the ball and get back on the board with a 13-7 lead. That was a very good punt by Bolden, I will say. For somebody whose natural position is not a punter or a kicker, like Evan Montgomery, that was a very good punt, I will say. Especially for South Jersey Group 1 standards. Look, I see some guys, we've literally seen some teams that have to go for it on 4th down because they don't have a reliable punter. I've seen punters whiff kicks. I've seen punters punt the ball to the right, to the left, where they basically gave up more yards than they actually punted for in the first place. So, props to Bolden. He is a impressive prospect for being a class of 28 freshman and doing what he can do now. That's incredibly impressive. 19 seconds left, and everybody moved.
So, it's the half.
Yeah, that's the first flag of the game. Wow. And you know, that famous Ed Hockley clip from like 15 years ago where Champ Bailey got caught up for defensive pass interference and Ed Hockley drops the famous line, "Yes, there are penalties in the Pro Bowl." That happened with 2 minutes. That happened with 2 minutes left in the half. Another home run ball. Broken up, and we've got pass interference. I knew that was coming. I think that was against either Harris or Pfeffer, because those were the two defensive backs in on the play, but kind of a very obvious defensive pass interference call, and that will be big for Schalick as now they get a new lease with 14 seconds left in the half. If that ball was back at the 32, this is going to go all the way up 10, 20, almost 30 yards on this pass interference call. If you're going to get a defensive pass interference call to go your way, then absolutely you want it to. Oh, wait, no, they're okay. Never mind. It's at the 42.
They ran 3 seconds.
Okay, so they burned 3 seconds. They've got 10.3 now, and hold on here. The officials are going to talk this over. I don't know what the confusion is. They're going over to talk to Mike Wilson, seeing what the deal is there. So whatever confusion has been going on, looks like it's been cleared.
They said clocking
All right, so they ran off 3 seconds. Wilson just wanted an explanation. He got it. Handoff over the middle. Simmons gets dragged to the ground. He's still on his feet, and now he finally goes down, and that will end the first half. And a little bit of confusion there at the end, and a defensive pass interference call put Schalick in a good position, but not enough to get on the board. As, hold on here. Penalty flag was thrown on the last play of the drive. You know, Vince, when I said there were no penalties in the first half, you know, I think they heard me. Although a lot of the fans are already leaving to go to their snack stands or whatever. Are they going to have an untimed down? Okay, so yeah, untimed down. We are not done yet. So a pass interference call, and now I was going to say, kids got to go back to their seats. Maybe they're just getting an early trip to the bathroom. They are at the opposing 41 now. I mean, yeah, they've been moving across the field with penalties. Pass interference and then a face mask call. I honestly didn't see it, but I wasn't really looking for one. Yeah. But we did not have a penalty flag until the final 2 minutes of the half. And even then, I think it was the final minute of the half that we had our first. It has gotten super quiet here at Gloucester for the final play of the half. An untimed down from the 41. Simmons in trouble. He lets it fly. He has room, but it is picked off. A can of corn, a huge hit, and that ends the half. Wow. That was a climactic end to the first half as Schalick takes a 13-7 lead on the only score of the second quarter. We'll get that's the touchdown that gave them the lead, and they are 1 for 2 on PAT attempts, but we've got a 15-minute break ahead. The DWB halftime show presented by Garden State Pet Center will be next. As a little bit of confusion ends the half, but these teams will go back to their locker rooms and will reset. And so will we. We'll be right back.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
They were able to get out unscathed in the third, but now the fourth isn't looking so kind. There's a high drive, deep center, way back, and it is out of here! John Pelosi! 3-run home run! He's left the building to dead center! And John Perosi's blown this game wide open! Have yourself a celebration, Johnny!
We'll lead it off. One nothing Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. The poster child now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs. It's 2-0.
Ryan Nutley, who has 3 RBIs so far, is up on deck as here's a fly ball at the center field, going back to the wall. It is gone! 3-run home run, Steve Schaefer. He rockets one out, and it's 9-2. First home run for Schaefer this year, the second hit at home by a Scarlet Raptor. Late switch for the visitors. Again inside their 5. Oh, they're going to pitch this one back for the flea flicker. Touchdown, West! Oh, my goodness! Taking inspiration from Nick Foles and Trey Burton. I think they just pulled off the Philly special. That is the greatest touchdown I have ever seen. Well, maybe not the greatest touchdown I've ever seen. Maybe that's stretching a little bit, but one of the greatest touchdowns we've seen in a long time. And it's a tie game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the start of the second half is just about to begin. The band just finished up their performance there. But this game has been a little odd. You know, Schalick and Gloucester seemed to be in it for a slugfest. You know, both teams were proactive on offense, and the momentum wasn't really in any direction. But now it seems like Schalick has the advantage. I mean, you know, look, Gloucester was forced to punt. They've already allowed a kickoff to be fumbled and returned by Schalick, which allowed their second touchdown to happen. So, it's been a little back and forth, but it also hasn't. The 13-7 score is it's much more of a story than that. You know, and right now the situation for Gloucester is they get the ball back to start the second half. They were unsuccessful in their last drive before the end of the half and had to punt, but now things are starting to change a little bit, and we don't know where this game's going to go from here. Like we said, these are two teams that last year played to a 17-14 final, and that game went down to the wire with Kenai Simmons punching it in for the final touchdown of the night. So, we don't know. We don't know what it's going to be. Historically, these teams have been very back and forth, and tonight these guys have been back and forth. Yeah. But I love Gloucester's versatility. They're young. They are full of life. Kevin Bolden, the freshman quarterback, he's been incredible out there. Trevin Burkhart, Ashton Wall, Caden Harris, Mason Widman. They are a young core. I mean, not Burkhart and Harris, but I mean, the combo of Ashton Wall and Kevin Bolden are going to be something that we're going to see for a long time, just because Wall is a sophomore, Bolden's a freshman. I'm very excited to see what they can do, but they also have to work under pressure. Look, Gloucester has that. Has to have a short mindset here, has to have a short memory. They've lost the last 3 games. They've got to put that behind them and get to work in the second half. But, for Schalick, they have been very efficient on offense, and they've been able to get themselves in a winning position basically all night. So it'll be fun to see what we have here in the second half, but these guys are just about to take the second half kickoff. So here from DWB, we turn the camera back around to the action as it's 13-7. Schalick over Gloucester. Keon Ebanks and Pfeffer. John Pfeffer will be back to return for Gloucester. Dragotta will kick for Schalick. They're going to move everybody up here prior to the opening kickoff, or the second half opening kickoff. Schalick up by 6. And from the left foot, Dragotta gets a boot on this one. This is going to go all the way back to the 10 for Ebanks, who drops it. It's picked up at the 10. He finds a gap, and he's got room.
Deshaun Jackson.
How about that? He will get tugged down at the 40. And you were right, Vince. You were just talking about Deshaun Jackson there. A fumbled kickoff that goes all the way back to the 39. And I do not see any flags. That would be an incredible 51-yard return for Keon Eubanks. It was either going to go to Pfeffer or Eubanks, and Eubanks obviously won the lottery there. And Gloucester, we were just talking about how they need to be more proactive on offense and how they need to complete those drives more efficiently. Well, guess what? They just got themselves off to a heck of a good start. Hand off to Burkhart. He sweeps it out to the right side, and he is hit out of bounds. Got about 6 yards on that. That'll be second and mid-range for the Lions. Don't forget, next week we've got a DWB triple header on the slate. Thursday, October 17th is Cherry Hill West and Pennsauken. Friday the 18th, Washington Township and Kingsway. Saturday the 19th, Pennsgrove and Woodbury. Handoff to Widman, who powers through to the 32. Not sure how far he got there. I apologize. That went to the 34, it looks like. And it'll be 3rd and 3 after a short gain for Gloucester. Widman, the senior back, coming into tonight's game with 2,645 rushing yards. Had a very impressive 1,410 in his junior year already nearing 100 rushes with tonight's impact. He came into today with 82. Now it's third and mid-range, sending number 11 in motion. Handoff to Burkhart. This is going to get swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. And Schalick hyped up there, number 25. Roneen Thomas, he's been a name to listen to most of tonight. And Gloucester, who had an exceptional, and I mean exceptional, return by Keon Eubanks, ends up fizzling out before they can get a first down. And Bolden now getting some extra words from Rob Bryan. I wonder if where you are, I mean, they put the ball basically where they started, at the 34. So they will keep the offense on the field, and I like this. Get a little gutsy, get a little creative, throw some more paint on the board. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I saw something I didn't. That's going to be short. And Gloucester will turn it over to Schalick.
Turnover down.
Schalick needed that right there. I think they were a little rattled after that Keon Eubanks kickoff return, but they held the course, didn't allow Widman, Burkhart, or anybody to get any momentum, and now that resets everything. So, first and 10 from the 34. It's less than ideal field position for Schalick, but it's field position nonetheless. You know, we weren't sure if Gloucester was just going to waltz into the end zone and take the lead back, but now Schalick once again dominating on the possessions. But Gloucester just needs to be more proactive on those drives, and they once again fail to complete an otherwise promising drive. First and 10 from the 34. Simmons in the shotgun. Breaks out of the pocket. He is in trouble. Sheds a tackler on the defensive line. He does not get to the line of he does get to the line of scrimmage. Thought he was going down, but he stays up. That will get him to about the 44. So I think he got 9 or 10. Ref signals are going second down. So it will be second and short from the 43. Second and 2. Simmons in the shotgun again. 2 receivers on each side. Immediately out of the pocket, that pass is caught by number 10. That is Jose Bolivar. Easy first down. I've seen that a couple of times from Simmons tonight where he doesn't waste any time. He doesn't scan the field. He doesn't do anything. He knows exactly where the ball is going. You know, it's almost like in Madden where as soon as you snap the ball, you're trying to get your online game done as soon as possible. So you hit X every single time and you immediately go out of the snap straight to your receiver. I think less than a second passed from the time that he snapped the ball to the time the ball went out of his hand. It did not take long for him to find Bolivar. And now a handoff to the left side. Gets hit and dropped at the 41. Second down. If that was a rush, I believe, by Reggie Allen Jr. And yes, it was by Allen. Gloucester making a quick change on the defensive line. For number 66, Jeremy Smith, the senior. I try to mention the O lineman and D lineman when I can, because sometimes, I mean, I've seen some teams that don't even put their O lineman or D lineman in the roster for NJ.com because they know media don't mention them that often. So I try to when it's applicable. Simmons takes it directly. And we've got a flag coming in from behind from the Whitecap. So after a first quarter of nothing, it's a holding call against Schalick. And that'll backpedal things a little bit here. Schalick leads 13-7. Gloucester received the second half kickoff as Keon Eubanks returned at 51 yards, but the drive fizzled out. Gloucester went 3 and out despite being in enemy territory. Back in action here on 2nd and 17 after the holding penalty against the Cougars. Sending a man in motion. They go with the triple option. Originally going in motion there was Levi Feeney Childers. So a host of Gloucester players on that tackle there. And it's 3rd and 17. For Schalick this year, like we said, this is their last road game of the regular season. They are home to Glassboro and Woodbury to close out the year. If you're just joining us, Schalick in their first offensive drive of the second half. .650 and counting. Simmons rolls out of the pocket. That pass is a diving catch, whistles blow, and after 3rd and long, they get themselves into a much more applaudable spot, as it'll be 4th and about 5 or 6 from the 40, as the pass was caught. That was number 2, you said?
Yeah, Purnell.
So Dezion Purnell on the catch, 4th and 6 now from the 40. First down markers at the 34. By the way, one of our YouTube commenters wanted to point out today is the birthday of starting Schalick center Matt Fantini. So speaking of not mentioning the offensive line or defensive line much, there you go. As Fantini gets his flowers, I think from a family member there in the comments. 4th and 6. Schalick going for it for the first time tonight. Simmons rolling out of the pocket. He gets hit hard in the backfield. That'll be a turnover. Man, Gloucester needed that. I mean, that is a gut punch to start your first drive of the half inside the 40 and not go anywhere with it. This will be a chance for redemption for Gloucester, as they might get back into this game here midway through the 3rd quarter. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Wrestling. One of the top, if not the top, South Jersey promoter of professional wrestling. They've got events all around the state with high-flying competitors and nonstop action all around South Jersey. For more information on future events and how to get tickets for those future events, visit Dog Pro Wrestling, DAWG Pro Wrestling.com. 1st and 10 for our Lions. As Bolden runs out of the pocket, dumps a pass off, but the pass is going to be picked up. That pass rumbled out of the hands of Wall and was immediately picked up by Ramin Thomas, and the referees are going to try to talk things over here as to whether that's an interception. Schalick wanted that to be a turnover, and it is incomplete. You can hear some jeers from the Schalick side about that. I think the thing is that he was never in possession of the football, so therefore that's why it would be an incomplete. But the ball also never hit the ground. At least I don't think. So, I don't know. When I'm just looking at that in real time, you know, like that's something I would have to look at a little further. But they do rule it incomplete. Wall was the intended receiver, and Thomas almost turned things on its head with a turnover. But instead, Gloucester remains on the field, 2nd and 10 from their own 44. Widman in motion. Bolden takes it himself. He's past the line of scrimmage, gets hit out of bounds, and gets saved from the Gatorade cooler. We saw last week a Pennsauken Gatorade cooler got annihilated by a Camden Eastside player. They were rushing out of bounds. The seas parted. And I think there were 4 or 5 Gatorade coolers in the sideline. Only one took a casualty. sending a man in motion. 3rd and 7 with Bolden in the shotgun again. Dropping back under pressure. He's hit as he threw. And now here comes room for Trevin Burkhart. He's going to get to the 20. He's going to get to the 10. He dives forward inside the 10-yard line. He is in there. That was a play that looked like it was going to be a disaster with nothing good coming out of it. And they somehow make something out of it. They go from their own 47. I'm going to see where this ball is spotted. It's going to be at the 6-yard line. Man, he went 47 yards on a play that looked like Bolden was going to be sacked as the offensive line basically just crumbled, and Bolden had to fend for himself. I mean, the entire Schalick D-line has been phenomenal tonight, but Gloucester has found ways to kind of Copperfield their way out of it. Widman to the right. He is inside the 5.
We'll start with number 3, Mason Widman.
Second and goal after the 47-yard rush by the Lions. Here comes a handoff to Burkhart. He cuts to the right. I think he's just shy of the goal line.
We'll start with number 7, Burkhart.
Some claps from upstairs. I assume that's the Gloucester stamp up there. And that'll be 3rd and goal. It's going to be at the 2-yard line. Gloucester scored first. I'm sorry, Schalick scored first. Gloucester followed and took a 7-6 lead. And then Schalick took the lead back in the second quarter and have not relinquished. But 6 points here, followed up by a point after, would change things entirely here in the third quarter. Handoff. Looking for a miracle on the goal line. Touchdown, Gloucester. There goes the cannon, and there goes the Lions. Gloucester will tie the game and looking to take the lead for the first time since the first quarter. And Wall will be back out for the PAT with Bolden to hold. 13-13. After Schalick's first PAT attempt ended up being a fake and ended up being unsuccessful. Here we go. Good snap. It is up. It's away. And it is good. And the Gloucester Lions have taken the lead with a 14-13 lead in front of an ecstatic crowd here on senior night as Gloucester reclaims the lead on their home turf for the first time since early in the second quarter. We'll be right back here on DWB. Picking up on some out-of-town scoreboards as Gloucester takes a 14-13 lead. Riverside beat on senior night against Bordentown 36-14. Gateway and Gloucester Catholic are knotted up at 0-0 at the half. The final from Woolwich, Kingsway beat Clearview 62-0. That game was 34-0 in the first quarter, 48-0 at the half, and Kingsway still put up 14 more points for a 62-0 win. Here we go. Wall sends it away. A host of Schalick players wanted to return that one. Diving forward and returning it to the 35 is the Cougars. At the half, West Deptford leads Salem 30-13. And we've got a great game over at Notre Dame in Lawrenceville as Notre Dame and the Irish lead PVI 14-13. A thriller down the shore. Ocean City beat Middle Township 38-34. That game has been back and forth all night. And Audubon has beat my alma mater. They beat Collingswood 7-0. They scored on their 5th play of the game, and nobody else scored for the rest of the night. Passed over, and a host of everyone was in on that, including Burkhart and Pfeffer. That was intended for Thomas, and what was almost a completion, what was almost a pick, ends up falling short. Camden leads Timber Creek 12-7 with 4 minutes to play in regulation. St. Joe's Hamilton beat ACIT 17-12 in a back-and-forth game. And at the end of the first half, it is 17-8, Holy Cross over Bishop Eustace. Handoff to the left side. Barrels and Barrage's throw. That's going to be a first down for Schalick somehow. I did not think that that play had the substance to be a first down, but Schalick did it. And they took care of it. Triton and Highland. That is a 13-12 game. Triton is up late in the 4th. An extra point seems to be what has made the difference. So here we go again. 1st and 10. Thomas to the right side. And that's out of bounds. Short of a first, but for about 8 yards.
Number 17, Henry Over on the inside.
Second and 3 from the 45. If you're just joining us, Schalick has the ball on the opposing 45-yard line. Gloucester just took the lead on a goal line rush. Simmons takes it himself. And this might be short. I'm not sure. This is going to be close. And it will be 3rd down. Yeah, not too much else in terms of what the media is covering. Ball comes out on 3rd and short. That's still going to be short of the line. And Cougars will hang on to it. It'll be 4th and mid-range. I mean, they've already gone with a fake punt tonight. I think Simmons and co will keep the offense on the field. Honestly, I think that's the only viable option, as these guys are going to wind the clock down to the end of the 3rd quarter. But I think these guys aren't even going to try to run a play before the end of the 3rd. They're just going over their coffee plans for the weekend. But we are 75% of the way through here at J.A. Lynch Field. And Schalick will have a 4th and 4 on the first play of the 4th, as the green and white for Mike Wilson and the Cougars will look to square this one away in a 1-point game here from J.A. Lynch Field. We'll be right back after this.
Two minutes.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan One slider, makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
From the home of the Lions, 14-13, 4th and 4. Cougars looking to advance the drive with a 1-point deficit. A blocked PAT attempt has been the only difference maker tonight. Dumps the pass off to the left side. That'll be enough for a first down and more. We've got flags, we've got laundry, and we've got whistles at the 30. We'll see what this is all about. That was completed to number 6, Nazir Winder. Let's see what the Whitecap has to say about it. It is a Schalick penalty. After the pass completed to Winder. Is it Winder? Okay, that's what I thought. So the penalty knocks back Schalick. Early in the 4th. It is 4th, and they're not going to respot the ball. I don't know what the penalty was. That's the thing. I didn't see it.
Where they call it? Was it fine? It was open. All them rounds.
Okay.
Down the bench. It went back 10 yards.
All right. Thank you very much. That is 4th and short. Simmons takes it himself, and I think this time it's good enough for a Schalick first down. So the explanation we got, it was a hold on the offense, but it was further down the field. It was not at the line of scrimmage. So they knocked it back 10 yards, and therefore it was still 4th down, but it was 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So back at it again on 1st and 10. Schalick still trailing by 1, but a much better and much more viable chance to get back on the board. The game was a thriller last year. It could very well be a thriller this year. Rolling out to the right. Thomas takes a leap. And some stuff coming in late. Not a flag or anything, but just some folks coming in late. And Burkhart is down.
We have an injury down the field.
Burkhart went down at the end of the play, or towards the end of the play. And they're going to stretch out his left leg. Somebody stopped something up there in the 2nd floor. Yeah, this is I mean, hey, props to the Gloucester crew, you know, and what Rob Bryan does for Gloucester Athletics. You know, I remember we were right across the way on the left at Gloucester Baseball for their first sectional win in 50 years. They beat Woodstown. That was one of the greatest games that I had ever covered. It was incredible. You know, and then they played Point Pleasant Beach and it didn't work out, but I remember the energy around that game with Woodstown and Gloucester, the South Jersey Group 1 sectional for baseball. So many people were there. It was just incredible to watch, you know, this many people, you know, partaking in such a small ballpark. And Burkhart will hop off the field under his own power. Rob Bryan to his left, and the Gloucester athletic training staff on his right. But this is a tight-knit community. You know, there's a reason why we've come back 25 times, or maybe not here necessarily, but think about it this way. That is including home and road games. But we've been here for soccer, boys and girls soccer. We've been here for football. We've been here for basketball, and we've been here for baseball. I mean, Gloucester is just one of the best complexes in South Jersey for us to live stream games at. And as long as we're welcomed, we'll keep coming back. Simmons takes it himself on 2nd and 9. He scampers his way through the defensive line and deep into the secondary. That will be another Schalick first down. For Gloucester, they have a home game versus Haddonfield next Friday. and then they are away at 0-6 Pleasantville to close out the regular season. And then they are back at home, not necessarily at home, but it's the Gloucester Catholic Gloucester Thanksgiving game, which will always be at the same venue no matter no matter who is listed as the home team. We're not sure what our plans are for Thanksgiving this year, but that might be on the list, to be completely honest. That might be on our list of games that we want to be here for. Dropping back, out to the right. Gets tugged, gets tripped, and that'll be a gain of about 5. Yeah, we'll have to talk to Rob Bryan about that because, I mean, hey, we've covered Gloucester Catholic football before. We've covered Gloucester football as early as tonight, right? So that seems like two fan bases where I think we can get our foot in the door there. 2nd and 4 for Schalick. They are inside the red zone. Ball is spotted at the 17. Simmons scrambling out of the pocket. We've got a flag. He drives forward. And it should be good, but we'll see what the flag is about. It is an offensive hold. I mean, he was basically a bulldozer there. He was leaning forward and getting himself any leverage that he could. Second and 14 now. After 10 yards gets negated on that play. Sending Thomas in motion. He gets the snap. Gets knocked back. He's still on his feet. And finally gets tackled for a loss. I think Whitman was in on that. And a huge loss for Schalick. Look, Gloucester wants vengeance tonight. You know, they lost last year in a heartbreaking way. And they've also lost 3 straight. I mean, PVI, that was a 38-0 game. There's nothing pretty about a 38-0 loss. You come back-to-back weeks with 1-score losses. Gloucester doesn't want to be on that train anymore. They want to get back to 500. This is not a divisional game, but Schalick is a big power in South Jersey Group 1. You know, you want to be able to find yourself solidly on the up and up. Simmons from the pocket. It's incomplete, and it's 4th down. So double coverage for Gloucester. And that pass was just a little bit off to the right. You shift that ball over maybe a foot or two, and we're talking about a Schalick touchdown. But now it's 4th and long. And do they bring out Sheehan? No, they're gonna bring out the field goal unit. This will be a 56-yard attempt. That doesn't sound right. It's up, and it's no good. And Gloucester will take over. You know, okay, so from the 39, that was a 56-yard attempt. That just didn't sound right in my head because this is a South Jersey high school game, and I don't think we've seen an attempt from outside of 40 this year. Gloucester will take over from their own 20. And now this is one of those drives that Gloucester can make or break this ball game with. You know, if Schalick had taken that PAT early in the first quarter, we'd be tied right now, 14-14, but they went for the PAT. I mean, hindsight is 20/20. That's the thing. You can't really fault them for going for 2 early because you didn't know what Gloucester was going to have in the tank. Handoff to the left. Ball comes out. Schalick's got it. They're going to go the other way. He is still on his feet. He is still on his feet. Whistles are finally blown, and on the first play from scrimmage, Schalick's got it back. Wow. That was returned by Schalick's number 5, Levi Feeney-Childers. And the Cougar faithful have just gotten a new spark here with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the fourth. I mean, this game can be decided by anything here. Lost for me. So Schalick's got it from the 18. Handoff to Allen Jr. They get a lot of leverage on that. Talk about a swing play right there. I mean, they have swung the momentum of this game twice. Gloucester had it, Schalick had it, now Schalick's got it again. Second and 6 from the 14. Felt like they got more than 4 yards, but that's where we stand. Schalick's cheerleaders are standing. Many in the crowd are standing. Allen got a slow start. We've got a flag coming from the back. That was not from the referee. That was from from somebody in the back there. That is a defensive face mask. Man. Big break for the Cougars there. I mean, this is very reminiscent to what we saw late in the second half, where Schalick was just kind of getting almost, I call it a tailwind drive, where you're not really supposed to be going that fast, but you get help. Defensive pass interference call, personal foul. You know, we had a face mask that led to an untimed down at the end of the second quarter. So here we go. 5:33 and counting. And we are going to have time. No, it's going to be offsides on Gloucester. Now, is that do they go 5 yards or half the distance? They will go the full 5 yards and spot the ball around the 2. So Schalick knocking profusely on the door of the end zone. Simmons leads with the shoulder, and Schalick's going to take the lead. Simmons rushes it through for his 36th career rushing touchdown. And after all that, Gloucester had one play. It got fumbled, and Schalick has another lease on this game, as Dragata will go for the extra point and attempt to make it 20-14. Although, no, Simmons is back on the field. They're going to go for 2. Okay. Try to go for a more conventional score and try to make this an even 7-point game, because they know that Wall is very good and very consistent at PATs as a sophomore. Simmons from the shotgun. I mean, there's really only one way this can go. He's the only man in the backfield. They're going to go for a flea flicker. Philly special to the lineman, and it's caught! 2-point conversion, good, and the big fella scores! They just ran the Philly special like Jerry Hill West did last year, and they did it on a 2-point conversion. And what has been popularized in Philadelphia trickles its way down to Gloucester County. And it is 5:22 left in regulation, 21-14. How about that?
Chase Cardi, please be there on the side of the field.
So Schalick will kick it away, and this crowd has gone from exuberant to silent as a game has turned into a 7-point lead for Schalick. They convert on a 2-point Philly special, and it is 21-14. They go for a squib kick. He barely got 2 steps in. Back to the 25. Returned by Pfeffer. I'm sorry, by Tillman. And that goes to the 40. Well, now if you're Gloucester, you're in the driver's seat again. You know that you can make some advances through this Schalick defense. They've done it before. And now they've got 5 minutes and 16 seconds left. So this is where the melting pot comes in, where you have to combine your strategy of driving down the field, but also burning time off the clock. Because if you break away on the first play of the drive and you score, that's great. You have a tie game, 21-all. But then they also have 5 minutes left to score, and they've certainly used that time very wisely. Fake the handoff to Widman. Throws it over the middle. It's incomplete. They want a flag on it for defensive pass interference, but they don't get it. That was intended for number 2, Rylan Kafigny. And some heavy coverage on the Schalick secondary after the play action to Widman. But yeah, like I said, Gloucester has to combine a strategy of driving down the field and getting into the end zone with leaving enough time on the clock, or maybe not enough time on the clock, for Schalick to force the issue. I always turn back to the Collingswood-Clayton game from week 0, where Collingswood got 30 yards and 5 minutes and burned so much time off the clock that Clayton didn't have time to barely get anything done. This time they hand it off to Widman. He immediately gets swallowed up in the backfield. That was a tackle made by the punter, Dylan Sheehan. And it is 3rd down and long after the loss by Gloucester goes back to the 39. It'll be 3rd and 12. And now the gears and the brains have to get a little more creative here. You got to think of a way, how can we get 12 yards in one go? Because probably if they don't go here, they're probably going to punt. And I haven't seen Schalick this year. I don't know how they are with time management. Some teams are better at it than others. That's, kind of a blanket statement, but we'll see what they got. This is a great game tonight. Bolden. Gee! In the Harris. Reels it in. And it goes to the 29. Kevin Bolden with a rock of a throw. And Caden Harris reels it in from their own 39 to the opposing 30. A 31-yard catch for Caden Harris. And with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in regulation, and I say regulation strongly because if Gloucester finds the end zone, we could be heading for a quarter number 5. That pass, that ball gets muffed. Gloucester falls on it. Yeah, that is a fumble as he was backpedaling. Yeah, he had not gone to throw it. Not sure who picked that up for Gloucester. Thank you. That was number 54, Jeremy Schoenfeld. And hold on here. This one stopped. They stopped the clock at 3:56.
Wait. Oh, okay. Never mind. I know why.
What?
It's not bleeding. It's
I don't know. I didn't see anything. Wait a second. No. No, that play got called back because they're back at the 48. So that 31-yard completion to Caden Harris gets negated. Here we go. It's deep. Oh! Did he make? Yes, he made the catch. He made the catch. Did he just? Oh, he's out at the toe. He's out at the toe. Kafigny just made an incredible catch. This place is going nuts. In double coverage, he just made that play. So on what was second and a country mile, after the fumbled snap that brought them back almost 20 yards, after the catch by Harris, we are now back for Gloucester. First and goal from the 4. Gloucester looking to tie things up here. It's a shame there's no reporters on the sideline. Wall doesn't get it. That's short. Timeout called by Schalick, and I feel like we can breathe for a second. we can breathe for a brief second. We're going to stay on the air. 2:54 left in quarter number 4 as Kafigny drives it home, gets it to the 4-yard line. That rush by Wall was short. So we've seen Jeremiah Carr get featured on NFL's You Got Mossed using DWB footage because he made an incredible play for Paulsboro. We've seen some great catches this year, and that's up there with them. So Schalick now back onto the defensive line after burning their first time out. Less than 3 minutes left in the 4th. They got 3 men behind him. Burkhardt has it. Drives to the left. He dives. Touch. Yes, home. One step closer. High. Trevin Burkhardt, through a topsy-turvy drive, just made this a 1-point game. And a PAT could put this on the line and could put this into DWB Classics territory. Here goes Wall. Bolden holding. 21-20. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left. That kick is up, it's away, and it is right down Broadway, down the uprights, and Gloucester has tied this game 21-21. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go to a quick break. Grab a water from your fridge. Grab yourself a potato chip bag. The flag just got picked up and waved off. But yeah, we're going to go to break. Grab some potato chips, heat up some Pop Secret, and grab yourself a bottle of water because these next 2 minutes and 50 seconds are going to be fun. 21-21, Schalick and Gloucester. We'll be right back. This is DWB Classics territory. We already had one game added to the football or the DWB Classics playlist. By the way, if you don't know, DWB Classics is a playlist on YouTube where we add the greatest baseball and football and basketball games and any sport that we cover, the greatest games in DWB history. We already had 2 games added this year, Hollingswood and Clayton from August 30th, and Ocean County and RCSJ Gloucester soccer from October 1st. This is returned by 31, goes up to the 36, and it will be taken care of. So it's from the 37. Schalick's number 31 was on that return. Kenneth Barty was on the return. But Vince, I'm glad you're here with us. This is going to be fun. 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Schalick returned it as the student section to our right, in all bright hues of pink, are all standing. Not a single soul on their behinds, as here comes Simmons, takes it himself to the left, and that's a gain of 4.
Okay, now I'm seeing.
Yeah, it'll be second down and about mid-range. Schalick has won 3 straight going into tonight, but they've got a gauntlet of a schedule ahead with Glassboro and Woodbury. We see Woodbury tomorrow on DWB versus Willingboro. And then Gloucester, they've got Haddonfield at home and Pleasantville on the road, and of course their annual Thanksgiving matchup against Gloucester Catholic. 2nd and 5. 2 minutes now. They go with the triple option again. Goes out to Allen. He gets laid out at the 44. I apologize. That was Sherrod Jones. Sherrod Jones on the count. We have under 2 minutes. Schalick has 2 timeouts. Gloucester has all 3. So do you just try to get into comfortable field goal range and try to hit a field goal? I mean, they attempted a field goal from 56 earlier tonight. And I did not think that we'd be in a world where we'd be seeing South Jersey Group 1 teams attempting field goals from 56 yards out, but here we are. But it's 3rd and short. I mean, they have to get across the first down marker first. That is number 1 priority. And before you burn this much time off the clock, Simmons takes it himself. He gets tripped up, and that will be a first down. Clock will stop with 1:10. And hold on here. Might have a timeout.
This is where I call him. You got a first down.
You got... No, clock is stopped because Nazir Winder is hobbling off the field. So that's... And Schalick does call a timeout. They have 1 remaining. 1 minute and 8 seconds left. Things are going to get wild here from Gloucester. We'll be right back.
BB and Copsetta trading a couple looks. They know what's going on. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic 26th annual.
21-21. Simmons has room. He's got a home run ball deep. Fire! Yes! Oh! Number 14. Zayshawn Mills to inside the red zone. They have under a minute left and the clock is running. He dove full extension like an outfielder in Monty's angle of Citizens Bank Park. He gave himself flight. And they're on the 20. Handoff. Up the middle.
Okay, here's where I call him.
Yeah, I would call a timeout here. I would call your last timeout. And that, yeah. Mike Wilson coming out. Schalick. Actually, who burned it? Who burned the timeout? Or was it just... Okay. Yeah, no. I was going to say, there's no way Gloucester would call it. There was a little bit of confusion. You could see Rob Ryan and the officials having communications there. He just off of his bad body language alone, he's not happy about something. Yeah. But Schalick did burn their final timeout. Gloucester has all three. Schalick has none. They have 31.7 seconds left on the clock in the fourth. Again, I don't know what the complaint is, but it seems to fizzle out there. But Schalick, they have that crutch in Hunter's Regatta. They can kick a short field goal here if they, not exactly here, but they have no timeouts. What you can do is try to get a first down here. If you don't get it, spike the ball and then go for a field goal. I feel like that's pretty well laid out. But if they don't, that's if they don't get a first down. I think we might see some spiking here. Not here specifically, but Simmons over the middle. It's kicked. Touchdown, Schalick. Didn't need to kick a field goal. It is caught by Zayshawn Mills. And in the final 30 seconds, the Cougars have taken the lead. And with 27 seconds left, this crowd very slowly dispersing. There is time on the clock, but this crowd has been given a gut punch tonight. They lost by 21-13 to Seneca, and for the fourth week in a row, Gloucester might be headed for a loss. The lefty's kick is good, and it's 28-21. Gloucester will be back up against the wall as this game is going to go down to the wire, but we'll be right back. We're going to catch our breath, our collective breath, as it's 27 and 2 seconds left on 27.2 on the clock, 28-21 Schalick. Here we go. It all comes down to this. Schalick used their time wisely and scored with 30 seconds remaining. Gloucester now needs 7 to tie, 8 to win. The student section largely still intact after that touchdown, not letting this one go. Squib kick. This one might go out of bounds, and it will. That will be a penalty for kicking out of bounds for the Cougars. That's not a big help. Good news for Gloucester, they have all 3 timeouts. So with 27 seconds left, I believe they'll get the ball at the 40. We've seen our fair share of kicking out of bounds penalties. I mean, if you're Rob Ryan, there are very few situations that prepare you for something like this. Your team just gave up a touchdown after Schalick was incredibly efficient on the drive. Now you have to tell them, go out, play like you know what, and win this game. You know, we on the Dan Wilkins show last week, they're going to re-kick it, by the way. They're going to knock this back 5 yards and re-kick. So, interesting choice, but maybe they think that he can muff it on the second attempt and Gloucester can get a better field position. Because remember, I mean, you always have 2 options for kicking out of bounds penalty. It's either you can knock it back 5 yards and re-kick, or you can just accept it and take it from the 40 and start your drive there. If it were me, I'd rather start my drive from the 40, but no squibbing is going to be done here. Deep kick now back to the 15. Ball got bobbled a little bit, but he hangs on to the possession for number 5. He's got some room. He sheds off a couple tacklers. He is leveled at the 30 and the 31. Eubank.
I mean, we've seen long balls by this team all game. This isn't over yet. No way should this anyone think this should be over.
It's not the return that they wanted, because if they had just taken the ball, they'd be at the 40. You'd have a 10-yard advantage there. But you have 19 seconds and 3 timeouts. I mean, there is nowhere that ball is going except for high in the air and far away. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's time to lock in if you're Gloucester. Schalick riding 3 straight wins going into tonight. They are going to have their toughest game of the year against Glassboro at home in Pittsgrove next week. And Gloucester burns their first time out. Oh, that's tough. We're going to keep it on the air. Oh, man. That hurts you a little bit. You know, like, you have all 3 timeouts. Now you just burned one of them. I guess they were... I mean, if it were me, I would have loved to get a playoff before you called a timeout. But obviously, somebody is not in the right step. And somebody's not on the right page. Don't forget, our next broadcast will be Saturday at 11 a.m. between the Willingboro Chimeras and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. That's at 11 a.m. and then at 3 o'clock we have the Brookdale Jersey Blues and the RCSJ Roadrunners in women's soccer at 3 p.m. And then on Thursday, October 17th, it's the Cherry Hill West Lions and the Pennsauken Indians from Nakamani Field. Bolden has room. Not anymore. Not anymore. He's got 2 men all over him. That's a sack and a timeout. Back at the 24 as they lose 11 yards. Either way, this game is still going down to the final play. Even in Collingswood Clayton, that game didn't go down to the final play. This is the first DWB football game this year where, unless Schalick picks it off here and takes a knee, this game will go down to the final play. Even Holy Cross Riverside. Riverside got picked off in the end zone with 30 seconds left, and Riverside still ended the game with a knee. Schalick would improve to 5-2 with a win, and it will be their 4th straight after starting off the season 1-2 with losses to Cedar Grove and Woodstown. They have won 4 of their last 5, maybe 5 of their last 6. And Gloucester, coming off of a 9-win season in 2023 and a thrilling overtime victory over Middle Township in the playoffs last year, would fall to 2-4. Bolden again. A short pass, but he gets it off, and it's out of play. I know exactly what they were trying to do there. So it was caught by Cougars, and it was pitched back to Burkhart. So I like that, though. And they've got 7 seconds left. I mean, I haven't really seen that kind of trickery from these guys tonight. You know, Gloucester can run a very conventional offense, but Cougars caught it and then immediately kind of shoveled it back to Burkhart. And here we go. The entire Gloucester student section is standing. Well, 99% of them. It's been a fun night. It's been back and forth. We have had lead changes galore. And with over 75 tuning in from all over New Jersey and beyond, this game will go down to the wire and to the buzzer. But the ball is fumbled. It's fumbled. And now Bolden will drop back. And he will be sacked. 1 second left. And they will not call a timeout. And the Schalick Cougars will escape Gloucester with their 5th victory in a row. An unbelievable thriller that ends in the freshman fumbling and hands shaking at the 50 and a thriller. 28-21 the final. You do not get much better than that here on this Friday night. Man. Well, we were talking about going down to the buzzer. It did. I thought he would have gotten the pass off. It looked like he was about to throw. And then that was number 57 for Schalick. Number 57, Jermaine Loney, who picked up that game-winning sack. I mean, crazier things have happened. But, man, that was a good game. And Schalick continues on their run. 4 straight wins for the Cougars and 4 straight losses for Gloucester. I mean, you do not get much better than that. And like we said, first game of the year to go down to the buzzer, that was incredible. Vince, I'm going to get a sip of water. How about you? That was amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at it, it's something where even though Gloucester didn't quite pull off the victory and didn't quite get the finish that they wanted to, the momentum was not with one team. It was absolutely all over the place. Both sides had a single point, had the momentum. Every time one side had the ball, the momentum was on that side. There was no, again, it's crucial to say, both sides had equal momentum. It was 50-50, and the long ball tonight was on point. It was an incredible game. The throws were accurate. The receivers, got to talk about them, were on point as well. I mean, with the possible turnovers, I mean, we saw one at the first half that there was a turnover, a fumble recovery by Schalick, and what happened? I mean, hey, the Gloucester defense stood up when needed to. The Schalick's defense stood up when needed to. So even though it was a 28-21 game, it was, a lot of offense. The defenses did play their part, and of course, Schalick was able to hold off, Gloucester when needed to. But hey, with the long ball, I have to say the accuracy tonight by both QBs, I needed to put it on both sides, was absolutely incredible. This is probably one of the best games, like you said, that we have had on DWB, an absolute classic.
And you know what? I mean, you've got to feel for Gloucester a little bit. They have lost 4 straight, but it's one thing if you get blown out 4 weeks in a row. This is the 3rd straight week where Gloucester has lost by 1 score, and that is heartbreaking. I've seen some teams that just don't stand a chance. They lose 40-0 every week. They don't have the fight. But Gloucester has the fight. They blanked Pennsville. They took care of Lower Cape May, and then just now it just has been slipping from their grasp. And look, last year this was a season-opening game that had both teams combined last year to only lose 4 games. And Schalick went 10-2, Gloucester went 9-2. And now these teams are starting to part in different directions. Schalick is still on their winning ways, but Gloucester is going to have to find some footing. But look, they have a very young core. I am excited for what Gloucester can do. Kevin Bolden is going to be a threat by 2025, 2026, and Ashton Wall the same way. He is going to be a threat on both sides of the ball. Kevin Bolden is one of the best freshman quarterbacks I've seen this year. And Gloucester's not going anywhere, but right now things are just a little bit slippery. I mean, they have really shown that they can play good football. But against the rest of the team, I said it. I'll say it again like a broken record. This is the 3rd week in a row that Gloucester has lost by 1 score. That hurts because you think you have it. That game went down to the final play. Seneca last week, 21-13, similar fashion. And if you're Schalick, you got to hold your head up high, but you also have to keep a humble self because you play Glassboro and Woodbury to close out the season. Woodbury is doable. Glassboro is going to be an uphill battle, but they do have the home field advantage over there in Pittsgrove. So I don't know. Things are going to get a little bit interesting for Mike Wilson and the green and white crew. But that will be all for us tonight as we've got to get some sleep. We've got 2 games tomorrow. The Woodbury Thundering Herd and the Willingboro Chimeras from Woodbury High School, 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. And then at 3 p.m. we travel down to Sewell for a matchup between the Brookdale Jersey Blues and the RCSJ Roadrunners in women's soccer. That'll be all for us tonight as Schalick takes it home in a thriller. 28-21. It came down to the final play and a fumble and a sack. So what took care of business? From our entire DWB crew, our social media coordinators, Brendan DeKagerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan. My producer and color commentator tonight, Vincent Focht, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you bright and early from Woodbury High School tomorrow morning on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting as Schalick wins their 4th in a row, 28-21. Good night, everybody.